that button should have made it work. So this you should be seeing Estuary Sex, November 4th, 2021. The Grim Grizz Open Cognition, Open Node Cognition. Hey everybody, it's me. Oh, look there. Okay, here I am. This is a live stream version. So what that means is live stream while I make it and then chop all the nonsense out. It's complicated. It's complicated.
And that sex is bad, but you should only have as much sex as you need to have as many children as you need, right? Because sex draws you away from God. And even then, like in early Christianity, it was common for married couples, once they got past the childbearing age, to then suddenly have a celibate marriage, right? So that then they could pursue greater holiness and abstinence.
Look for this story in the video conversation I posted recently in Bless Me, Father, for I Have Sinned. That's what I entitled the video.
Yeah, it was obviously, influenced by especially early on, the heavy influence that Plato and kind of Gnostics were having, where like your body.
Again, these people are probably in some ways better educated than many, many clergy in churches in past generations and perhaps even today. All four of these individuals. I mean, it's really an amazing thing to just pause and pay attention to.
The material world is bad. Your body is in some sense bad, and we need to reach the spiritual plane. And so I think a lot of that was also like kind of this Platonic influence, which was growing at the time.
If John Vervaeke hears him talking about Plato that way.
I mean, as far as I know, the first sex positive Christian was Martin Luther. I feel like Protestantism really invented in Christian history, as far as I can tell, was the
so all y'all Catholics and Orthodox, we're the sex positive ones.
I'm just so happy he said all y'all. Really, that's enough for my day to be made. Oh yeah, pet cow in the house and came for the sex and stayed for the estuary.
No, we're going to take that celibacy thing off of the pedestal and put married couples having children with good sexual relations at the top. That was actually, I think, one of the biggest changes.
Sort of understood that you wait until marriage, people would have children out of there'd be oopses, there'd be births that were 6 months after the wedding, not 9. There were all of these things, and there's a degree of social enforcement, but and even in the Christian Reformed Church in some places, a couple might have to get up and basically confess their sin before the church that, they did the deed before they got married, and you had shotgun weddings again. But by the time we get to the millennials, it all just gets turned up, and now it's at a fever pitch, and I think partly
it all gets turned out.
Again, also because of the pill. The pill has been ongoing greater and greater perfection ever since then. And so
that's a euphemism, Pastor Paul. It's not a pill. It's a deception to your own body. You're lying to your body, telling it you're already pregnant when you're not. You're a deceiver. It's a deceiver pill.
It's just interesting how these dynamics changed and what now this generation, because all these four are millennials, their experiences, let's say, compared to my experience, and then there's obviously a generation older. My mother is still alive. That generation is still around, and some of you are listening to this video, and you could tell stories about this.
I brought up the wilted rose, like the analogy that was passed around in youth groups, where they would pass around a white rose and have everyone touch it, and then at the end they would say, do you want to be like this? Just disgusting.
Ooh, yeah, right. And that was the idea, right? Like, that's what American evangelical purity culture was stay pure until you're married, and then once you're married, have at it, right?
The traditionalists that want to maintain the Christian standard position on human sexuality, well, the tape and the crumpled rose and the purity culture, that didn't work out so good. So how do we talk about this? And the other side is like, it's not even don't ask, don't tell. It's just don't police. We're not going to police any of this. People are going to do what they do, but
it's pretty hard with compete. It's pretty hard to compete with base your identity on whoever you're going to let you, and then go them. That's what you're doing. You're choosing that. Now you start choosing around what, 4 or 5? I don't know when they make them choose now, but they're setting themselves up to enter the sexual market, and it's a sexual market. And the thing, let's roll the savings throws for this live stream, shall we? Hold on. Let's see. All right. Whoa. I'm going to live through this one, babies. That's a nat 20 on the survival savings throw. We got a 14 on social. That's a pair of 7s. We got 3 5s on the wisdom for a 15 savings. Only the heart is under 10, and that's a 7. So the reason, the estuary sex part, okay, is I watch this thing and these Christians are like purity's not gonna work. Why would anybody do that? And the thing is like, if you base your sexuality on like the 2,000-year-old don't do it, you are gonna have some problems. However, while the Christians were doing their don't do it thing, apparently some guys in India were discovering tantric sex. So the thing is, okay, like I do a bunch of like my personal woo is chakra bullshit. And the thing with the chakra bullshit is like this, is like it divides you into 7 layers like a rainbow. And it's mostly the kind of sex people are having now is mainly red, orange, and yellow sex, right? But if you have love, then you can get up into green sex, and then if you like love each other over time and learn into whatever, you can like shoot all the way up. But all you're gonna get on Tinder when you're burning away everything good about you by mingling with all sorts of other souls is the physical red reproductive drive. You're meeting that. The orange, like, feel good about yourself because you're having sex and not an incel. You got the orange things going on. And the yellow social, but that's like coming out as dominance and stuff, especially with the way the porn is leaning. So that's what the Christian purity angle can offer, is because once you get into a loving relationship, you open up a whole nother flower of sexual possibilities. And I guess you Christians don't know that because you're not into tantric stuff. That they're there. So see, now that you've stepped out into the estuary, you can be informed that there's other things that you can be doing and achieving within the confines of your marriage that you may not have ever known about. Welcome to estuary sex, right? Right?
Intensification of the people in the pew. That's part of how leadership works.
Rojo in the chat there that I turned off for my spiel asks, what color is your sex life, Grim? And I guess he's also banned by YouTube. The first comment doesn't count. I don't know what's going on here. But I see it. It happened. The witnesses can attest to it. And the color is purple. Indigo and purple. I'm mainly mind fucks is my department these days. I get none of the, like, everything, it's all wilted and useless, but lots of mind fucking going on, Rojo. Thanks for asking. In the still of the night. Okay, this is a clip from the feature film The Cucking of Paul Atreides, where the man being tested to whether or not he's an animal can only make it through by the telepathic help of his mommy on the other side of the door, which is a vast differentiation from what we were exposed to when I was growing up, which was the little boy coming of age into a man. So anyway, I bring these guys up because in this fictional sci-fi universe you are completely oblivious to as the Christian folk, they have a shadow matriarchy known as the Bene Gesserit. And the Bene Gesserit are practicing eugenics to breed the Messiah. And this naughty lady made a boy when she was supposed to make a girl. And that's how they ended up with them. You'll see. Spoilers! But this shadow matriarchy, we have lost that. We don't have anyone practicing eugenics anymore. It's just everybody, wow, wow, wow. Freedom! And, It's important later. It'll be important later. Stay tuned.
Marriage problems?
No.
Then why do you have a girlfriend?
You're gonna stop moralizing with me now.
No. I'm just curious. Why do you have a girlfriend?
I do things whatever I can't do with my wife.
Why can't you do them with your wife?
Hey, that's the mouth she kisses my kids goodnight with. What are you, crazy?
All right. Have you been?
And they're encouraging the sneaky predator strategy by making men who are masculine like bad, and then when you embrace the image of the frog, you break the spell, and that's really offensive because you're really breaking their reality. So it makes them like go belligerent. Like that's the rage, because you break that glamour spell when you embrace that, yes, I am the frog. That's what kissing the frog is. It's like, yes, you are the frog, and then that breaks the spell.
Yeah, so it's like when all the boys have been turned into frogs, if they embrace it, then they can't deny that all the boys have been turned into frogs.
Yes, but
So
that's going to enrage you if you're trying to keep them frogs.
Right.
Like irrationally.
See, that was the secret of the frogs, and I was gonna like slice and dice that video and make it all fancy, and then things happened, and it was lost. It's deep down on Sally's channel. I'll throw this in the link there and the thing. But I knew it was important to go ahead and talk about this issue because I was trying not to. With the Paul assault critique, beautiful, thank you, whatever. I was going to try and lay low and let the eye stalk wiggles speak for themselves because there's some really important messages in there. But there I was on Twitter, and this Hyun Chu feller, he's all, oh, by the way, Hyun, if you're watching, see if Deborah will talk to me. That'd be cool. Internet dating has gone in the complete opposite direction. People are simply desperate for a live human to talk to even simply embrace. A lot of these people aren't even thinking as far as relationships or marriage, but will accept a one-night stand with a stranger for it being the human contact. While many can capitalize and profit from the situation, what results is a lot of individuals, mostly women, who see their that have been fucked by the Cheds, see their largely value in the dating market as being almost entirely sexual, as many are not desired out of lust but desperation, both their own and their partners. So, it's a hot topic. It's a big issue. People are suffering from the lack of human connection, and the Christian folk aren't even promising hey, you can get a deep connection here. Just get married first and love God and stuff. I don't know, you're missing out, I think, on this marketing opportunity. And with the loss of the shadow matriarchy practicing practical eugenics, don't breed with that one, sweetheart. That's where we get back into the mouse and man thing. So we can circle back to what got this whole thing started. That's got to be way down here. It's so old. Oh, look at this one. Hello, everyone. I am Grimgriz on the internet. I'm here to tell you a little truth. People are doing shorts on YouTube now, so I'm doing a short. It's a Troofer short, and it's called Prostitution. And the truth about prostitution is the reason it's illegal is because it's too obviously true. See, if it wasn't illegal, then you could make the comparison between what you do for an hour's worth of money and what they do for an hour worth of money, and how much is you putting on the girlfriend experience or the customer service experience, the connection, and they make it illegal. Oh no, this is not that, it's something else with you working for us, because so you don't feel bad about it. Whore. This has been a Troofer short from Grimgriz. Alright, I'm sorry. This is going to be hard to stomach for a lot of people, but he makes a point that I don't feel like taking the time to make myself. So, it's 2 minutes.
Blues. fighting the Housewife Blues, and you have soap and a bottle. It's associating that with blues. They're trying to create a narrative that the housewives are blue, that they're sad, when in reality, that's the most free, productive, and full of purpose and health a woman can possibly be, is a stay-at-home wife and mother in a prosperous household. That's an ideal place for a woman. We all know this now. So that was in 77. So what happened in 87? Who's bringing up baby? With both mom and dad at work, the big problem is finding quality health care. Where do you find that quality health care? And then 10 years later, early puberty. Why girls are growing up faster? Is it hormones? Is it fat? Is it something in the water? How parents and kids are developing. That's 2000. I'll tell you exactly how this happens. You send the mom to work. There's nobody home for the kids. They go through puberty faster. Girls go through puberty faster when they are in an unstable.
Can we have an evolutionary biologist fact check that for us real quick? I mean, we're all in the estuary. We have all sorts of people around here. We should be able to have fact checkers, right?
Environment. Girls go through puberty on average 3 years faster if there's a non-biological male in the house. Because what a girl thinks is she's about to be kidnapped, raped.
Family show here, buddy boy. Okay, but this to me comes back to this loss of the shadow matriarchy, which she talks about here as well as the identity. But this disgusting bit, you don't have to. Here, let me put the window up so you don't have to look.
All the knowledge of life to the young.
Phase was characterized largely by an entire generation of young who had been rejected by their mothers early and forced to leave the nest, and they were therefore unable to exhibit normal social behavior. This manifested in numerous ways. The females of this generation had far fewer children, and those that did have children lacked the maternal instincts necessary to raise them beyond weaning. Calhoun goes on to describe the males of this generation. Quote,
So he does. It's like the incels and the vol cells, but properly raising children became associated with the oppression. The oppression was having to properly raise children into better human beings, and now we have stage C. And so unless there's a restoration of like, hey everybody, let's really get into home economics and start making, because everybody's so individualistic, I don't even think they're really paying attention to what their children are being individualized into. And Robert Greene, in his On Mastery, full address to the Oxford Union, says some really interesting things I think are relevant to the sacred womb. I don't know if this is where it's at, though, so this may be me finding this boat.
I wrote about it, and the idea goes as follows. I maintain, or it's not I maintain, it's the truth. Every human being is born unique. Each one of you was born with a DNA and a configuration of your brain that has never happened before in history and will never happen in the future. This uniqueness that you have is manifested in your early years when you're a child by the fact that you're drawn towards certain activities. It could be physical activity like dance or sports. It could be something more intellectual like math, or it could be music, or it could just be as simple as a young boy who's drawn to nature and wants to capture it realistically with a piece of paper. Whatever it is, it's a sign that you are drawn to this thing in a way that's pre-verbal, you can't even explain. And that is the manifestation of your uniqueness. And I compare this uniqueness that each one of you has to a voice that's inside of your head. It's telling you, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. It's what fits you, it's what you're good at. But what happens with all of us as you get older is that voice gets weaker and weaker. You listen to your parents who say you need to be a doctor or a lawyer, you need to worry about making money, You listen to peers who are saying, this is a...
Hey, can I have Can I poke you? I want to be bisexual. That's what my peers are saying. No, wait.
Cool job. This is the kind of profession you should be going into. You start thinking in terms of what really matters is I have to be comfortable. I have to look for a position that's comfortable.
What really matters is you have to find your secret sacred self.
To the point where you could graduate from college, you could be in your early 20s, and you have no idea who you are. That voice is totally drowned out. And you end up going on a career path that seems right. You're going to...
So that seems really relevant to the discussion. Is we've lost the ability and respect for, like, the sacredness of human life. Like, we don't give a shit about your kids. We'd love to catch you abusing them because then we would be virtuous for catching you. But we don't, your actual children, no, and with the loss of the sanctity of each individual life in the pursuit of, like, saying that, I don't know, it's weird. Like, how does that come about? How does the secret sacred self end up in antinatalism? I guess because you don't got time for that. Ain't nobody have time for that. Like, is there no motherhood secret sacred? There's no fatherhood secret sacred? What? Anyway, there's me trying to have estuary sex with everybody. Special thank you for my shadow producers, Seshet, Gideon, Gavin, and R. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Good afternoon.